so any angle we do, it does it. Right, welcome back. So what we're doing today is we're going to start work on the actual pizza oven, which is quite exciting. So we've set out on here our circle for the pizza oven and the shape of it. So I think it's like 1260mm diameter, approximately. 1280mm diameter for this. We've got this calcium silicate board, which is very heat resistant. It's got a massive heat rating, but this is what everyone uses for it. So this is an inch thick, 25mm thick. We're going to be laying this down first, but we're going to put 2 layers of it, which is going to give us 50mm, because basically when you're doing these pizza ovens, you don't want all your heat to be zapped into the floor and just soaked up by this concrete, which is not a good insulator. So this is our barrier between it. So we'll be sticking these down, and then we'll be laying our bricks on the floor as a base then. So that's the cooking area, and they'll be in a herringbone pattern. One thing to remember with this when you're cutting it, just make sure you wear a mask, because you don't really want to be breathing this stuff in, it's not very good for you. So I just traced around this shape on the edge of this board, try and be a bit economical with it. I'm just going to cut it with a hand saw, so we'll come over here now. I think we'll cut it on this metal here, it'll be a bit easier. So what we'll do now, we'll stick this down. I got some high temperature sealant / adhesive, so I'm going to stick it down with that just to stop it moving. It'll just be a bit easier. Oh, not quite sure what's going on there. Here, I've given this a good brush off as well. Right, so that's it, like that. So we'll get our next piece down. We can do a full piece on the next piece. Put our next piece on there like that. So we'll continue now just to mark these up and stick them down, and then we'll do a second layer over the top. I probably could have bought 50mm, but I think I originally bought the 25mm and thought, oh, I need to be thicker than that, so that's why I got 2 lots of 25mm. But I think you can get 50mm. It was a bit confusing looking on eBay at some of the sizes of them, because the prices were all over the place. So just cutting this with a jab saw. You can use the saw for any sort of straighter bits, but not best cut in the world. It's why a jigsaw is probably best, but it'll be alright for what we want. So just put a bit of adhesive on here. This is high temperature adhesive, by the way, so it's only just to stop it moving a bit. Like that. We've got the insulation in now, so we've got the 2 layers of that calcium silicate board. That's all stuck down. Some of my cutting around the edge is a bit to be desired, but I'm not too worried about that. Could be a tidier job, I will say. So what we're going to do now, we're going to bed these the floor bricks in a herringbone pattern. The whole point of this herringbone pattern is so it doesn't catch a piece of pizza peel when it's going in. That's what I've read up on anyway. So rather than being straight when the herringbone, it's less likely to catch. So we're going to stick these down with this heatproof mortar that we're going to mix up. You can make your own, but I've found some heatproof mortar which is food grade. So we'll stick them down with that. So basically you're just trying to get these as flat as possible with, you know, least steps in them you can. Going off pretty quick. Whether this is the right decision I don't know, but it'll get done. Right, so we've got quite a few of these bricks down now. I've changed my mix slightly. I've got some silica sand and fondue cement, which I've mixed together because that other stuff, which I'm still going to use when I lay the bricks, but it's just a bit coarse for laying thinly on some of these beds. So yeah, I'm just using this silica sand because it's a bit finer, and I have used that before on pizza ovens, but if you were laying the dome with it, you should be using the fire clay as well, but this will be okay for the base like that. Like I say, you could use the sand if you wanted to. If this board was flatter, if it was just one layer, you could lay them and dry if you want. Enough there. But it's not very flat, so it needs leveling out, you know. So yeah, we're just carrying on with this. Put a few more cuts in, just to get where we want to be. Right, so we're just marking up a few of these for cutting. On the edge I'm going to change this pattern just so we don't end up with little small pieces on the end. Much as you would with block paving to end up with, well, not end up with small pieces. So I found the centre here, and I'm just going to, we do that way around. I'm going to hold it on what my centre is, which is 6.45 roughly, and then I'll just mark it like that. We'll mark it there. A little tip as well, cut a load and then lay a load, you know, don't cut and lay because you've got mix on the go and things are going off and whatever, so no point in doing it like that. And if you notice, got no mask on here because I'm wet cutting, so I don't want to worry about the dust. Working our way around with these cuts, and don't worry if you can't get your cuts immaculate here, because you're going to have your perlite mix. Well, you'll have your ceramic blanket insulation, then you'll have your perlite mix on there, so you've still got lots of layers to tidy it up and have that insulation value, so don't worry if it's not perfect, as this isn't. When we're cutting curves like this, especially with a big grinder, I'll show you how to do it the best now. So we're using water, so what that means is the pencil line disappears quickly. So what you want to do is just score it quickly with the grinder before you do the sort of main cut, and then to get the curve, I'll show now what I do. I tend to cut diagonally sort of up there and then come from the other way, and you can join them up then because it's so difficult to get that curve otherwise, but I'll show you what I do just to help you out. So that's what we do to get the curve like that. They haven't got to be immaculate because, as I say, it's all getting covered with the perlite render in the end anyway. So we got all these cuts in here now to make a circle. Not the tidiest circle in the world, but the edges I'm not too worried about because we'll be putting the upright bricks on this. We've stuck a bit of ply into the middle here. I've stuck that with some CT1. You could screw this tool, which I'm going to explain now, into it, but I didn't want holes, so just stuck this in. I'll screw this to that then. So basically what we got here, this is called the indispensable tool. So this enables us to put the arm on here, and any point we adjust it to is always right. So as you come up it's right, as you go round. So basically all this is this is a caster wheel, so there would have been a wheel there on it, like a trolley wheel, caster wheel, and that's where the wheel would fix to whatever you would mount it to. So you take the wheel off, you drill a hole through the wood, bolt it back onto the wood, and you've got it. And obviously you set your length of timber to that as well. That's quite important, but obviously you can adjust it to fine tune it. So we found centre here now again, because obviously I've lost my centre mark. So now we found centre. All I'm going to do now is screw it. Right. Right, so now it's screwed down. You can see the principle of it. Where it's simply, that's what happens. So our brick will be mounted on top of this edge. And basically, yeah, so any angle we do, it does it. We won't be going right up with this because with a pizza oven you want more of a domed top rather than circular top, so it's a bit flatter, but we'll be going up so far with it. But it enables you to keep that perfect curve all the way around. So what I'm doing now is I'm setting out the first ring. I'm doing these upright just so you have a bit more room in the oven before it starts closing in, and it makes it work better with the arch as well. I haven't set these arch bricks yet. I just dry laid them so I know where to come to with these ones. So we'll come right round on these upright ones, and then we'll set the arch ones as well, and we can start closing the dome in then. So wet this mortar up a bit now, which has made it a bit easier to use. And just gently push it into place. Again, we're going just beyond this pencil line to follow where the top of this arm should reach, which is there. And what you can do then, if you want to, you can point as you go. It's not the prettiest thing, but it's not nice stuff to use at all. And what you can do then is, if you have a sponge handy, you can just wipe off as you go if you want, like so. Okay, so now we are just setting up the sides of the arch where to support it. So I'll lay in these bricks that I've angled back here. So we're going to do it 3 bricks high before the arch starts. That's what I did on the last one. It seems to work well, and I see a lot of ovens tend to do the same sort of thing with that. Yeah, I'm trying to keep the joints as thin as possible because you want as little heat loss as possible. Go for nice and plumb and level, which that isn't. Okay, so that's one side of the arch done now. We'll do the same the other side. Then we can set the former up and arch over that properly then. Set this arch up. This arch was from another job. It didn't quite work for this one, so I had to put a bit of sand just to tweak the arch. I should have made a new arch for it, but I got a bit fed up in the end, so this'll do. So I had some arch bricks from another job as well, the last pizza oven spare. And what I've done on these bricks is angled the back of them. So they'll all come across there like that, and the angled back then makes it easy when the rings come around and come over the top or over the back of these bricks. Really, it's not easy, but it's easier to get the bricks to work with it. I've made the mistake in the past of just having the back of those bricks flat, and you're trying to get these pieces to stay on the back of the brick, and it's really difficult. But after watching a few videos, I think it's some of the kits you can buy of bricks ready cut. They come with them angled like that in these bricks, in these kits you can buy. The top of the arch should be 63% of the height of the top of the oven, so like 2/3. So I'm trying to work to that sort of height roughly. They reckon that's the best way of getting the heat to work the best. So anyway, we'll lay these bricks now. Right, so we'll just lay these edge ones first. So I hope the wind noise isn't too much. It's still very windy here. It always seems to be windy at the moment. Arch bricks. I have done a bit of a dry run with these, so they pretty much work out. They're not too bad. These bricks have had a bit of a soaking overnight with the rain, so it's quite good. And all the mortar you're used to working with is just not forgiving at all, this stuff. You can be really good at laying bricks or something, but this stuff is not nice to use. It's like almost using like tile adhesive to lay bricks with. That's what I would compare it to. So you can see better on the back here how this angled brick on the back of the arch helps with when the dome comes over it, because it means the brick, so I tried to set the angle on these bricks as well to suit the angle of the curve, so the bricks can sit flat on it better. You don't got to angle the bricks so much, make it a lot easier. So that's the idea of that. It does make it easy, because believe me, I've done it without doing this and it was hard. So I'm just going to set a couple of bricks either side of this to hold the arch a bit better. I'm hoping I can take this arch down, then we'll see if it stays in one piece. Good thing with this mortar as well, it's castable, so basically you can fill in some big chunks with it, you know. I was getting a bit worried then. I was keen to do this before it went off too much because to be able to point up underneath it nicely and not have to hack loads of bits of dried mortar off. So we'll just have a point up underneath this now. Just to make sure these are all packed good. Another thing I forgot to mention, what I said about the gaps on the back of these bricks on the ring there, I haven't done them yet. Another good reason for not doing them completely as you go is if you've got any spare mortar at the end of the day, you can just chuck it in, you're not wasting any ever. So that's a good thing